Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in because today we are dissecting one of the absolute most intense, iconic moments in ancient military history. And look, we're not just talking about shields and swords here. We're going to break down the actual military tactics of the legendary Roman Testudo formation. But even more importantly, we're unpacking the supreme importance of military discipline, right? Like how relentless training literally transforms into this impenetrable mental armor. Let's see exactly how tactical perfection and human psychology intertwine on a totally chaotic battlefield.
Part 1. The Deadly Storm.
Okay, so to truly grasp the brilliance of this tactic, we've got to put ourselves right in the middle of this high-stakes, life-or-death scenario. Just imagine you're standing in a massive open field, completely exposed. The pre-battle tension is just suffocating. And then, without warning, the sky darkened. Our source material describes an absolutely terrifying moment here. You know, the sky isn't being blocked out by storm clouds. It's blocked by tens of thousands of arrows, just raining down like a deadly storm. This isn't just a physical attack. It's this massive psychological shock designed to shatter the will of an army. You have literally seconds to react before that storm hits the dirt. So what do?
Right on the razor's edge of life and death, the commander's roar just tears through the panic. Testudo! Marcus bellows. Now this single command is the pivot point of the entire battle. In a fraction of a second, it shifts these soldiers from being totally vulnerable, exposed targets into a highly organized, unified force. It isn't just a shout, right? It's the trigger for thousands of hours of ironclad training and discipline kicking in.
Part 2. The structure of the Testudo formation. What's truly incredible here is the sheer mobility of this structure. Now, testudo is Latin for tortoise, and the moment that command is given, the Roman soldiers instantly lock into formation. Massive shields are hoisted directly overhead and locked tightly along the flanks, creating this flawless shell with zero gaps. They're no longer just standing there as isolated individuals. They completely fuse into a single unified block. This shell is engineered to be utterly impenetrable to forceful impacts from above and all sides. It's basically a perfect architectural arrangement for survival.
And immediately after comes the brutal reality check. The source material captures the impact with this chilling rhythm. Thud, thud, thud. The arrows crash down with extreme, violent force. Just imagine that deafening sound pounding relentlessly into your eardrums, with just inches of wood and metal between the sky and the top of your head. It is utterly terrifying, sure, but crucially, the formation holds. The shell doesn't splinter and it doesn't crack.
So let's walk through the strict, step-by-step tactical progression that actually happens beneath this arrow storm. First, the shields lock together with absolute precision. Second, they absorb the violent, relentless bombardment. Third, and honestly this is the hardest part, the true testament to their strength, they advance. Step by step, in the slow, deliberate march, refusing to leave even a single gap for death to slip through. And the final step is the moment they prepare to lower those shields and engage head-on. You see, this isn't a random sequence of reactions, it's a military machine operating flawlessly.
Part 3. The Power of Discipline.
We've focused a lot on the physical strength of wood and iron, but let's step back for a second. What actually keeps those shields locked together so persistently? Well, it's not just muscle. It's unwavering military discipline. This was a massive psychological triumph. They held their formation under a violent, terrifying pressure dropping right out of the sky. They advanced steadily and deliberately, instead of, scattering in panic or rushing forward impulsively. They remained remarkably calm, yet hyper-alert to their surroundings. Marching in perfect rhythm underneath a storm of weapons designed to kill you, that requires extraordinary self-control. This is the clearest proof we have that discipline training can completely override natural human panic instincts.
And that solid psychological block was steered by the immense clarity of the commander. Marcus walks calmly right beneath the canopy of shields. He isn't panicking, he isn't screaming uselessly. The text shows him repeating with this steady, grounding rhythm. Steady, steady. This calm guidance acts like an anchor for the soldiers' minds, keeping them locked in until the arrows slowly begin to taper off and finally stop. They've brilliantly survived that first life-or-death test.
Part 4. Order versus Chaos.
Now that the rain of arrows has ceased, let's look at the incredibly sharp contrast playing out on this blood-stained battlefield. It's the classic showdown between order and chaos. On one side, we have the Romans in the Testudo formation, locked, silent, calm, advancing with a crystal-clear purpose. On the other side, surging from across the field, are the enemy warriors.
The source material describes them screaming, charging forward with a wild, feral fury. Their discipline is practically non-existent, but their extreme threat comes from their absolute, overwhelming raw numbers. It's a perfect contrasting picture of two entirely opposing philosophies of war.
Everything is rapidly approaching a boiling point. The arrow storm has cleared. The enemy waves are rumbling toward them. Marcus decisively raises his hand and commands, "Prepare to engage." The tension right now is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The Roman soldiers receive the order to lower their protective shell. That resilient defensive phase, it is officially ended.
Our source material captures a profoundly quiet, breathless moment right before the storm of blades truly erupts. For a brief second, the two armies stared directly into each other's eyes. Try to visualize that for a second. The wild, screaming fury slamming face to face with the cold, silent gaze of iron discipline. It's as if time suddenly stands entirely still for just a fraction of a second before all the violence breaks loose.
And that razor-sharp silence is broken, not by a flashy scream, but by a powerful, resolute whisper from Marcus, "Now." That whispered moment marks the complete shift from static defense to brutal, active offense. The Testudo formation accomplished its mission perfectly. It protected their lives through the storm to deliver them to this exact optimal position, ready to crush the enemy's chaos with a highly organized force.
So this brings us to a profound question to wrap up today's explainer. Does ultimate victory in the most chaotic battles rely more on the sheer overwhelming force of raw numbers or on the unbreakable power of locked shield discipline? The story of the Testudo formation shows us clearly that true power doesn't just lie in the sharpness of the weapons. It's in the system, the flawless coordination, and the unyielding spirit of people standing shoulder to shoulder. This lesson on maintaining discipline and structure under extreme pressure, it isn't just true on ancient battlefields. It carries deep value in how we face the chaotic storms in our modern world too. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and remember, whatever comes your way, hold your own line.